Shalom, Mr. First and foremost, I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Shemel, Shabbat, Shemkakadash, to born to the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching us true peace and blessings to the whole of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the friendly Hebrew, Hashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the Beyond Son. Back here in lesson, and today I'm going to go into another MOTB update. As you've seen, the foundation, the infrastructure that's being laid out, all in order to usher in and bring about this beast system. You see how they're conditioning and apparent before that RFID CHIP, which is the MOTB. That's where you're seeing many stores, implementing more self-checkout aisles and really everything moving towards a digitized system. So I do want to place a quick video from the Buzz channel. As seen, this title says the device for total control, and we all know what that is going to be. You should know what that's going to be, which is going to be that RFID CHIP. You all see Elon Musk working on the Neuralink, which is the mark on the forehead. Other companies following in suit, creating similar things. So a prophecy is heating up, and this is a major, heavy end time prophecy. And we have been warning you through probably Yahweh Shemashai, starting with the apostles, and also down over that great millstone, that this is coming. That these are the things, or that this is ultimately what is leading up to. Dealing with these, apps like Amazon One, where you're able to pay with the palm of your hand, more self-checkout out, worse than everything, pretty much going digital. It is leading to that RFID CHIP. But I'm gonna play this real quick, get a couple of scriptures, don't make this too long of a lesson, and let's dive right into it. I'm probably gonna put on 2x speed. This guy, kind of speaks a little slow, and I just wanna, get the point. So let's continue on.
Yesterday I was doing my normal shopping, my normal groceries. I usually buy my groceries with a debit card, and I noticed another machine on the side where you can buy your groceries, or whatever you want. You can buy your stuff, groceries, whatever you want, with your hand.
So you heard me said you could buy pretty much anything you want, with your hand, and you've been seeing apps like Amazon One, and also a few examples of there in China. We're able to scan and buy things just by the way scanning your face, and they also hold certain areas pretty much on lock where I believe you need to scan your face. I made a lesson go into a while back. I believe I made a short of it, where it's like a snippet of a video, and I believe this dude scanned his face in order to enter a certain side of the park, if I'm correct, if not a certain area.
I already knew about this procedure. They've warned me before, about a couple of months before. In biblical terms, this is the mark of a beast, where this is a surgical procedure where they put a chip in your hand. This is a surgical procedure where they put a chip in your hand. This is a surgical procedure where they put a chip in your hand, and you use this chip to buy anything you want. It's easier, but I recommend not to use it, because your body is God-given, and they want to control you.
There you go. That's the point. If I miss anything.
They want to.
Now let's get a couple of these scriptures to get the point. This is Revelation 13 and 16 through 17, and this is this devil's major plan. Which is not about the point of being listened. You've been seeing the conditioning, preparing people for that RFID CHIP. You've seen, by the way, Amazon One, being able to buy and pay things by just scanning your hand. And you already see how lazy these Babylonians are, these people within America. They're going to see the convenience, the benefit in receiving this RFID CHIP. You had at one point when Elon Musk was in the beginning stages, just the idea of creating the Neuralink. He's made all these promises and also said that you would be able to listen to music within your brain. And when he said that, he had Jake all on board with it. And come these last days, you're gonna have people lining up to take this thing, man, and that's gonna be a sight to see. And it's also going to be one of the biggest I told you so moments. Because you've been warned. You've been told that this is coming. Step by step. And we've been warning you to spend probably how that this is ultimately what this is leading up to. As I mentioned earlier, starting with the apostles and elders are down over that great millstone. This is Revelation 13 and 16 through 17. And this is one of the main scriptures that you should especially know by now already. And he caused all, both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. And when you go into that word mark, in the Greek goes into the word charagma, which then goes to the word etch, scratch, showing it's a physical mark. Further going to show it's important to look at the etymology of these words so you know what these scriptures are talking about. So as a cut to these other camps, I want to push the MOTB as a spiritual mark. I mean, that's clearly not the case. But to receive a mark in the right hand or in their forehead, you see on this, which can create the Neuralink, the mark in the forehead, other companies creating similar things, and people taking it already. Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the beast or the number of his name. So very soon you won't be able to buy or sell without it. You won't be able to live a so-called normal life without it. You're going to have this double, Esau, Edom being applying that pressure, tightening that grip. A choice will have to be made. And those that choose so-called life by taking that RFID chip, in reality, you chose death, man. You got front row seats to thermonuclear destruction. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that the mark of the beast or the number of his name. So that's why you're going to have many people, and especially Israelites, end up taking that corrupt. And you saw an example back in 2020. Dealing with the 19 and all that stuff, and you had jobs being put on the line where if you didn't take the concoction, the juice, you lose your job. And you had a lot of these unfaithful Israelites went up and took the juice, man. So if we failed the pop quiz, imagine when the true test is in play. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. And it says, lest Satan should get revenge of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we also know what this devil is getting ready to do. We see through the facade, dealing with these different apps, the infrastructure, the foundation. We see the ultimately where this is leading up to, which is that RFID being implemented and being pushed out, being mandated. What's in seeing self-checkout aisles, seeing these different apps, stores now having locks on it to where you need to scan your ID to open the door. It is clear that this is leading to that charagma. One more time from the top. Lest Satan should get revenge of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So ultimately, you'll see what this devil is playing at. And we're not ignorant of these things. Isaiah 10 and 1. As well unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Now it's going to these draconian laws and measures that this devil's getting ready to implement. As I brought the point, dealing with back in 2020, dealing with those lockdowns, the restrictions that were in place, your job being put on the line. Even in my area, a while back, they were giving you a free $75, whatever the case was, for if you took that juice. So they were promoting it, pushing it. But just going back to that point, dealing with those restrictions and mandates that were in place where you had people being fined and jailed over not wearing a mask, And that was just an example of what's coming, especially dealing with those lockdowns. And we said that these things were coming back, that they weren't going anywhere. As we read Revelation 13 and 17, how you won't be able to live a so-called normal life without it. Travel, go to your job, to buy food, to do anything. This is why you get Isaiah chapter 10 verse 20, this correct chapter, going into how we're no longer going to be relying upon these devils, man, but solely off Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. Of course, right now we still have to go to this devil for things, dealing with the grocery stores, you get food and all these different things. But very soon we're going to be doing that, especially once these things are mandated and pushed out. We're going to be relying upon our power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. Putting our faith, our trust in the Lord. Revelation chapter 2 verse 10. I'm going to make sure my voice is on just in case. Okay. But then it says, fear none of the things thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast me into prison, that ye may be tried, so be persecuted for not bowing down to this beast system, for saying stiffly and boldly for the Lord. We're going to be hated. We're going to be demonized. We're going to be persecuted. I see here, behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that ye may be tried. And back in 2020, that was an example. A trial run. And you got a lot of Israelites that end up failing then. So imagine now. Now says that you may be tried, shall tribulation 10 days, be thou faithful in death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. So we remain faithful. So you will have, certain brothers be, faced with the guillotine. But as we read earlier, be thou faithful in death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. There's a reward, a prize waiting at the end of that finish line. As you get in the scriptures, those that pass on first will be risen up. Revelation 3 and 10. You get in the scripture in I believe Thessalonians. I believe it's the 4th chapter. Being joined up together with them in the clouds. Now, Revelation chapter 3 verse 10 is because I was kept with my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation. What's that hour of temptation? Mainly going to be when the end to be presented in front of us, which shall come upon all the world to try them and dwell upon the earth. So everyone will be presented with a choice, and there's only one correct answer. But as I made a point earlier, you're going to have people choosing so-called life, and really specifically dealing with Jake. They're going to choose so-called life, putting their faith, putting their trust in Esau, Edom, taking that charagma. But those that chose so-called death by not bowing down to his beasts and by denying that charagma, they chose life. And we hope and pray that we're of that hopeful elect to stand stiffly and boldly for Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai in those days, man. Because you're going to have a lot of unfaithful Israelites end up cracking under that pressure, man. Which I don't know if I fully read that. I also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to time to dwell upon the earth. Now I've got, I believe, 2 more scriptures. And that's the point. It's Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Bad things shall speak and not lie. They would tarry, wait for it, because surely come it will not tarry. So meaning it will not delay. These things will happen. It will come to pass. And just go back top of the verse. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. What is that vision? Speaking of the sign, the prophecy, we're in those appointed times as written and spoken within the scripture. So just going to show just how close we are to the end of this place. In Ezekiel 33 and 33, close out with this right here. Because I made a point earlier. This is going to be one of the biggest I told you so moments. You're going to have people lining up blocks on blocks. You have people be with a new shop opens up within the area. Even over here, you had a new chicken spot open. This was a couple years ago. You had a line going down blocks, man. So imagine when it comes to this charagma, and what should be with all these promises that Elon Musk is making, and these different things that you're able to do, and with having this RFID chip, this Neuralink, and really they're gonna go hand in hand. But people are gonna see the so-called benefits in it. They're gonna see the convenience of it, and people will be hopping on board, with it. Now it says, and when this comes to pass, lo, it will come, then shall you know that a prophet hath been among you. You know that a prophet has been among you, warn you, telling you these things. And Jake coming to his last day is going to have a light bulb moment. They're going to have a realization, but it's going to be far too late. Especially dealing with this RFID hub, it's not something that you can just take, and all of a sudden you came to a realization that it's the MOTB, whatever the case may be, and you want to get it taken out. Well, it doesn't matter if you take it out or not. You took it and you will be destroyed. You'll be put to death. Front row seats. Top VIP class tickets for destruction, man. But that's the point. I do close out and give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Kadash, and Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.